and zoning, and we feel that that's unfair. We feel that according to the subdivision requirement sheet, it clearly states that a subdivision, any subdivision to the definition of subdivision, into 4 or fewer tracts must be such that each tract so remaining has an adequate road frontage or less, and it goes on to give specifics. And we proved that with regular paper. In other words, with the plats that we had from the appraisal district. And it also says that the definition of a subdivision is a division of any tract of land situated within the corporate city limits or within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city into 2 or more parts for the purpose of laying out any development of tract of land. We own 3.79, and the 1.14 that we divided is not considered a subdivision. We're just selling that piece of land, which is already existent, already has utility easements, access and everything. And the 2.65 that is remaining, which will stay in our name, is divided by the Lodi Creek. Okay, so going into the requirement of having it make sure that it has access to the 2.65, we showed Mandy that again with the appraisal district paperwork, we showed them that those 2.65 acres are directly will be directly attached to our existing, where we live, the 6.1 acre. We also have an access that comes off of the 181 where the Tractor Supply. And we just don't feel that it needed. I think that maybe they misunderstood when we said that we were going to subdivide, because I know that it's a parcel of land and you're going to subdivide at 1.14, but I think that the word subdivision was taken into the context of us making more buildings or putting more businesses out there. We just sold that piece of land, or we're selling that piece of land to
Senior citizen.
yeah, to a senior
For a
citizen
single dwelling.
for a single dwelling, and it has plenty of access off of Sutherland Springs. I provided all the information. I provided the survey by Pollock and Sons to show everything, and I just feel that the $400 that the planning and that I don't feel that it should have gone to planning and zoning. I think that within the city there should be a way that when people with a situation like ours come to them and they are able to prove with not only the appraisal district paperwork, but also with their own warranty deeds of the property to show that, like ours, that we had the 6.10 existing that ties in, that they should say, yeah, there's no use in us taking the planning and zoning time, much less charge people $400 for it, you know. So we just wanted to see if there a mistake had been made. I tried to talk to City Manager Turner, but I think that she had oral surgery and she might have been out of the office because she never returned my call. I tried to call the city, called the city secretary 2 times. They never returned my call. So we didn't have anything else to any other way but to come before you all to find out if was there a mistake made? You know, did they think that we were subdividing? That was the word subdivision taken out of context?
Are you selling your piece of property? So you're
Just
not,
at 1.4.
No, we're just selling the 1.4.
so you're
Yes.
selling 1.4 of your property.
Right.
Yes.
Who is going to do all the legal stuff, and who's going to do all the plot planning if you're selling one piece of your property off to another house?
They already did it, right?
We did the plotting already.
They paid for it.
Okay, Mindy, will you explain how that actually works, please?
Yes, well, they actually are subdividing a large parcel into 2 separate parcels. They're not creating a subdivision. I don't know, Chris, do you want to give the definition of a subdivision?
Well-
They are subdivided.
So you're not, the person who's buying isn't a family member, correct?
No, it isn't.
Because there is an exception in there if you're selling it to a direct family member, but otherwise, if you,
This one is an individual that's a senior citizen already.
and so what on there, the way the statute's written, is that any division of the property into two or more, which this would be now two different parcels, for the purposes of development. You said that you're tearing down, she's tearing down the existing house and will be building another one, so that meets the technical definitions of the statute, or sorry, of the ordinance on it.
We're selling the property, and then they're the ones that are bringing in their mobile home to live in the 1.14.
Right. Even though it's only into two parts, it's the same, because our ordinance doesn't discriminate between two parcels or 200. It'd be the same as a land developer buying, 200 acres, dividing into 200 lots, and then selling each one for a builder to come on and build on that lot.
But not on this case.
Right, and ours doesn't show any distinction.
They sold the property, they're not putting nothing on it, they're selling the property, there's not a subdivision.
They're subdivided.
They're selling they're subdividing it to 1.14 acres in the
Well,
remaining. So it
actually,
is being subdivided.
actually, if I may, the property is already subdivided per se by the Lodi Creek. There's nothing that we could do with the other
The
2.65.
existing property behind the creek
Yeah.
was already landlocked to begin with.
You
Yeah,
know,
but that's,
The only way that we obtained it, why we obtained it, is because
it ties
it ties
into
into where we
R6.
live.
Right.
And geographic and legal subdivisions are different. So I understand that there's a creek that renders it behind, but from a legal
Well,
perspective.
what I can't understand is we did all the expense of doing
Because,
all the
yeah.
paperwork that we did. We went to the committee, the zoning committee, they're volunteer. The two staffs that were there from the city are on salary. And then also we have to pay, after paying all this, as taxpayers and senior citizens, we're already mandated to pay another $400? It's not right, not for the city, not when you're not doing it as a business, not as a commercial. We're doing it as a residential and for senior citizens. That's what we're doing.
We also didn't understand why we needed the Mylar. If, I understand that the Mylar is for the subdivision, but when we bought our 6.01 acre, we weren't required to get a Mylar, and it just didn't seem fair. It just does not seem possible. It just doesn't seem right.
The money doesn't seem right.
No.
Could anybody tell me what the
Because
$400 is going for?
Mindy said that it was
Plan review or
administrative
something.
fees.
We don't charge,
Plat
the
review
planning and
fees.
zoning doesn't charge $400.
No, they do not. It's plat review fees. It's in our ordinance.
What is that, plat review?
Plat review fees
What is that?
that takes care of any type of subdivision, final plats that will be recorded through the county.
Okay, but let me explain.
She already has that, don't you, Richard?
Yes, let me explain. When,
They've already prepared it.
when we had to pay for it because they told us that we had to do it, okay? And they said that we found out that the planning and zoning members were volunteer. So I went to the appraisal district and I got this platform that shows very obvious where everything is and everything. And really, I did all the work myself. I brought it to Mindy. Mindy put it in a packet and presented it that night. But all they did was look at each other. They looked at this and they said, so there will be utility and easements like needed. So she was the one that was answering the question, and they just said, I said yes, and the other one said, I second it, and that's it. But to me, and others, as a citizen, as a taxpayer, I feel that it could have stopped at Mindy. If Mindy saw very clearly, and I had the warranty deeds to show that I wasn't lying of the property, that there was entrance, then it could have stopped at Mindy, and Mindy could have said, I approve this. Because what it is that what she told me, the reason we had to go there was because the planning and zoning had to make sure that there were easements that got back to the other piece of property, the 2.65 acres, so that if in case we sold that piece of property, that the 911, the emergency and everybody would be able to get there. So I was able to prove that before. I do not feel that it was necessary for us to have to go to the planning and zoning, because we weren't planning a subdivision of 2 or 3 homes, and we weren't asking to rezone.
You just sold the property and.
We
you
just
had to have
sold the
planning and
property.
zoning for that?
Yeah.
No, they
Part of
just subdivided the
Just
property.
selling property, she is dividing her property up. So it's a division of one piece of property into 2 pieces with 2
Why
residents
does
now.
planning and zoning have to get involved?
No, there are 2 residents. One is in other words, it's
The other
like
property is.
this. It's like this, okay? It's like this. This is the 1.14. Here's the Lodi Creek, and here's the 2.65. It's a wooded area that connects to.
It's all flood area.
It's in a flood area.
You live on that property?
No, sir, we do not.
That's
The
what,
one house?
The reason
There is, but it's gonna be torn out.
no, not on the,
2 lots.
not on the 2.65.
No, on the 1.1.
On
But there's 2 lots now.
There will be.
Yes,
There
there
will
are
be 2
2.
lots.
There are
So
2.
you're dividing 2 lots. Well,
If-
dividing 1 lot into 2 lots.
If it is approved tonight and the Mylars are signed, then yes.
Okay, so if we don't approve it, can she sell that, move that other
Not,
resident?
not the 1.4 as a
They
single
could sell the
portion.
entirety.
This
But you
entire,
won't be able to sell that 1 point, whatever.
1.4, no, sir.
So if we say no, you can't sell it. If we say yes, you can subdivide it and sell it.
And it will be recorded to the county.
Okay?
The Mylars go to the courthouse.
but that's not why she's here. She's here because of the $400.
Well, that's part of our ordinance. If you divide one piece of property into 2, 3, or 4, you have to pay that for
For what?
For what?
Mr. Nisbet.
Where
We
does
did
it
all
go?
the work.
Cindy's work, the county's work.
No,
That
she
was-
gets paid.
She's a salary.
How does she get paid?
She's a salary.
Excuse me?
She's a salary.
Well, you have to.
Planning and zoning doesn't.
So she's salary, she comes out of the tax money, so I'm taking tax money from me and you to pay her to let them benefit.
Excuse me, we're again restrained from the item at hand, and the question is that the Alfados are questioning the $400, and the council needs to decide whether to approve the subdivision and the final plat or not to.
Correct. The matter of payment isn't on the agenda. That can be brought up as an amendment to the ordinance or something later, but that's not on the actual agenda.
So again, repeating what Councilman Nason said, if the council denies this, then you can't sell that 1.14 acres.
And
Yeah.
why would it, what would be the reason for denying it?
No,
No,
that's just a hypothetical. If we do not approve it, then you can't sell the 1.14. If we do approve it, then you can do that, but then there's a charge of $400. There's due to the ordinance, but that could be changed.
Either the entire ordinance could be changed or a variance from the fee could be requested, but that would have to come back as a separate item.
Right. So we can't vote on that tonight.
They're just here for
The
Right.
approval.
$400. They wanted to find out why it's like that.
No, they're not
It's-
here
yeah,
for
it's in the
400
ordinance.
this year.
We would have to put it on the agenda and bring it back to us.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If I disagree with the ordinance, what would I have to do and I think like about 25 to 30 people that I have already spoken to that have had similar situations disagree with the ordinance. So if I was to want to change that ordinance, what would I have to do?
You can come and address the council at any of our meetings, because we are currently looking at ordinances. So this would be the best time for it. Well, you can, at any of our
Someone would have to
meetings.
sponsor your,
Okay.
for the consideration and action.
Well, I'm
And
gonna
our next meeting is actually June the 8th. Our next regular scheduled meeting is
Okay.
June the 8th.
So y'all are saying that as far as that it's 2 different issues?
Right.
Because the fact that the Mylar was signed by the planning and zoning, we pass, or the property passes all qualifications, right? Which is that it has easements, okay? It has easements to get to it, which we're really, in other words, what the planning and zoning meant for, I understood, was to make sure that the 2.65 had easements to it. Okay, so we feel that we've passed everything, so then will there be a consideration of not allowing us to sell it?
Well, I think that's always up to a council vote, but it's highly important P and Z approves it.
They just look at it before we do. We have the ultimate.
Just a second. Okay, there is still discussion. If there is no other discussion, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve a subdivision and final plat request for Chad and Virginia Alfaro, 1319 Sutherland Springs Road, 3.79 acres, and then subdividing 1.14 acres.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilman Jimenez. Any citizens' comments concerning this issue? Okay. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 5-0. Thank you.
And if you're interested in putting up that other one, y'all can, come and discuss that.
And then since y'all approved it before everybody leaves, we'll just need to get signatures on the Mylars on the way out.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 3E, consideration and action to approve a zoning change request for MACME Investment LLC subdivision.
So we have a building that will be considered for office space, and it is 0.709 acres, and they are requesting to rezone from R1 to business. Originally, they had commercial, and planning and zoning had denied that, and they did approve for them to be recommended for council to approve the business. And they did accept that, so that's what they're requesting on that.
Okay, Councilman Jimenez.
Okay, in the last meeting, you said that they already have gone and spoken to all the surrounding
We had a
residents.
public hearing May 10th.
What's that?
We did have a public hearing May 10th.
No, you said that you were going to get the signatures, that they were already done. And from my understanding, there's a few people that addressed me that said that they were against that. So you said that everyone in the surrounding area had
We
signed.
sent notifications.
No, but you said that they had signed that you were going to bring something for the next
No
meeting.
one submitted anything to me through the city.
Is there anybody here from there, from that?
Yes. From our public hearing that we had at May 10th at planning and zoning, they were there.
Do y'all live?
Excuse me.
Oh, that's for the, okay. And y'all are okay with it?
I can only speak for myself.
Go ahead, Stephen.
My name is Felix Juarez, and I do live next door to this property that's on the agenda. I was going to wait for citizen comments, so I don't know if I should wait for them.
During discussion.
Yeah, because the council's invited you up now, you can have questions back and forth. You can do it during comments, you can only talk, they can't talk back to you. So if you want to have a discussion, now is the time to speak.
Okay. Forgive me for standing up earlier today. I don't attend city council meetings too often. And I have faith in all the council members and the mayor, past members as well. And as a citizen born and raised in Floresville, I want to thank you for your service and for the opportunity to voice my comments. And I'm Felix Juarez, together with my wife of 43 years, married back there in the white shirt, have chosen to live our lives in the city. We have even purchased burial plots in the city cemetery. In our travels, we see other cities and agree Floresville is a pretty good place to live. Together we have been blessed with 4 children who all graduated from FISD. Some of them are here tonight, my daughter Anita and my son Felix Jr. sitting next to my wife. The 2.63 acres on the agenda was part of the surrounding piece of land my mother and father purchased in '64. This piece of land was originally 6¼ acres outside of the city limits. My parents' intention was to have a piece of land large enough for family to also live on. Currently, there are 6 homes surrounding this 2.63 acres. I've marked it on the copy of the plaque there. My sister, her son, my sister is also here tonight, and 3 of our children, with 4 of their children and 1 on the way. My 4 grandchildren are ages 5 to 16. My father passed away in 1990. A well-known local attorney, Donahoe, or I'm not going to mention his name, handled the probate. My sister and I were to inherit. The 3 older stepbrothers were paid 5 times the value of their share. And due to an oversight by this attorney, the proper documentation was not produced. Upon discovering this oversight in the year 2000, 2 different well-known local attorneys were hired, who guided us to district court. A partition suit took place, which took 10 years. Our stepbrother and his heirs and the other 2 were awarded the 2.63 acres, which was quickly sold. I do wish the new owner success. A past city attorney once told me, good fences make good neighbors. With this in mind, I request, and this is my purpose of being here tonight, the new owner install and maintain a 6-foot tall privacy fence surrounding the 2.63 acres as permitted. And he did mention at the P&Z meeting that his intention was to build a fence. Or at least on the south property line, which my family live on. The other sides would have to be talked about by my sister, what she might wish. The recently established City of Floresville Ordinance this year, number 11, has some fence construction requirements, but I could not see a mandatory requirement to have a fence. This is going to be apartments, from what I understand. And I request this to be recorded in the minutes. Attached is an example of an ordinance from another city in Texas on mandatory fencing for apartments. I also request that the owner obtain criminal background checks on all current and prospective employees of the complex, as well as prospective tenants 17 years of age or older. I also request this to be recorded in the minutes. Attached is an example of the requirements. I believe these 2 requests will result in the best possible harmonious surroundings and help prevent crime in the community. And that's the purpose of my being here tonight.
Are you the owner of this property? Or you sold it, or you're just a neighbor?
I'm a neighbor. It was originally, my sister and I were to inherit it, but we had to subdivide it. It was sold to Mr. Moody.
Would you have the developer here if you have any questions for him as well, Mr. Moody?
My only question is, can they require the new owner to do a criminal background check?
So that's what I wanted to speak on. So as far as the fencing, since that involves the land as part of the rezoning, we could put that in there. But as far as the background checks, that doesn't have anything to do with the change in nature of the land itself. And so therefore, we don't have an ordinance that requires that in Floresville. So that would have to come back as a separate ordinance to be passed specifically regarding multifamily housing development.
The only ordinance is a state ordinance on predator.
Correct, on the those convicted of in being on the
Predator watch.
predator watch list.
Are there any questions for the developer? Who's in our audience?
Mr. Developer.
Mr. Moody.
Oh, Mr. Moody. Yes. Do you agree to put a fence up for the people?
Yeah, I talked to him last time at planning and zoning, asked if anybody wanted to pitch in. There was no volunteers, but I fully intend to have it full fenced all the way around. That was always part of my intentions.
And do we make sure that goes to you and puts in
Yes.
the legally?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll be happy on that, or you gonna do the whole thing, or you just gonna do his side?
I want to do the whole thing, but I was, I'm doing it in sections as I build out.
So,
I'm just starting on his side, so the fence will be on his side first.
so obviously you'll ask the neighbors on a 50-50 joint, or?
Well, that's what I was asking, but nobody volunteered, so I'll probably end up doing it myself anyway.
All right, the only thing, we can't do anything about the,
Unfortunately, because that doesn't tie to the actual land itself, the background checks and things would have to be done via separate ordinance at some point.
and the only thing you'll ever get would be the state predator, and you'll get notified by his posting, by the state plus predators watch thing on what internet. They don't have to tell them too, don't they? You're supposed to document within
Yes,
so many,
yes, if somebody that's on there moves into the area, then by state law, they do have to do the notification processes. But as far as any non-sexual crime, if it's theft or robbery or something, which are other big concerns, there's no state reporting requirement for those. And so that would be a city ordinance requiring a background check, and that would be something that the council could take up when we consider these new ordinances, if the council would like.
Any other comments or questions?
I'd just like that to be recorded in the minutes that I did request background checks and that be in the benefit of the whole community.
Any other questions?
Hello. I'm Felix Jr. I'm gonna live like maybe, I don't know, 5 feet away from the new fence they're gonna install. So anyways, thank you for giving me the time to speak. I was born here in Floresville, as were my parents, and they, along with both sets of grandparents, have been blessed to live all their lives here. I did move for some time to serve my country in the Navy. Now I live in the house of my grandma that she left for me some years ago. Two of my concerns are existing sewer and light hookups to the city from 1964. This house's existing sewer line runs under the new landowner's property, and the light hookup to the house is on it as well. They are there. The construction that is coming to be next door on the new owner's land may disrupt the existing sewer and light. Neither of my requests. Responsibility for disruption, I think, should not fall on the existing residents. Again, I wish Mr. Moody good luck, and I also request this be recorded in the minutes. Thank you for your time.
Let me ask you, is that where the baseball field used to be?
Yes, the poles are still there. They're getting cut down one by one, so because some of them are on the new properties, or the new owner's property. So, yeah.
Any questions for Mr. Wallace? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
If there are no other questions from the council, I will enter.
Asking, so there was no signatures at all
No, sir.
from nobody?
Signatures submitted to the city, no, sir. The
Well,
Morris
I mean,
family did attend the public hearing.
But what I'm saying, Mr. Moody went to all the neighbors and everything's okay with everything?
There were notices.
Because the reason I'm saying, Ms. Mindy, is because when I put a business in, I was required, before I zoned it commercial, I was required from all the neighboring people to get a signature. Again, our next door neighbor had to do the same thing. And you didn't allow them to do that without the signature from everyone.
I don't believe I have that in your file. We don't require that.
You don't?
Yes.
So in
Only
other
for
words,
mobile homes.
what's that?
For mobile homes.
It's not mobile home, it's a business.
I understand.
So there's no requirement for signatures on it?
No, you do have to send notices so that the individuals know when the public hearings will be and are given a chance to protest at the public hearings.
But they're not individually, I mean, y'all don't go and knock on their door and tell them.
I think, do you send them certified
We
mail?
send them both. We send regular mail and certified.
Okay.
well, obviously, everything's okay as long as Mr. Moody builds the fence for,
Whenever you sell your property, you no longer own it, the neighbor can't tell you what to do.
Mr. Moody has agreed to build the
What's
fence.
that?
Mr. Moody has agreed to build the fence.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying, once I own the property, If you're my neighbor, you can't tell me that I can't take down my property, my fence, or do whatever I want to with my property, I don't think, right?
Generally, yes. The only difference here is because he's requesting a rezoning, we make that a contingent part of the rezoning request.